There are two kinds of parents today. Those who are rejecting AI and afraid that it will damage their kids, and those who are ensuring their kids learn how to use it responsibly. The question is, which side are you on? Because right now, tools such as ChatGPT and Gemini are not just answering questions. They are writing code, creating business plans, summarizing textbooks, and even scoring higher than humans in many exams. So if our kids are still spending hours and hours memorizing definitions from a notebook and not doing anything else, we are setting them up for a world that no longer exists. What AI can do today is so much different from what the world we were living in before. Earlier we asked Google's questions like a librarian and we got links. But today when you ask ChatGPT or Gemini, we get either a maths explanation tailored to a 10-year-old or a business idea for a child's hobby. Sometimes we can also get a fully coded prototype of an app, maybe a 3D design for a science project or a personalized career map. Well, we have to understand, AI is not just replacing homework, it's replacing the need for the old kind of homework that we are so used to doing. From learning to content to using the content, your child will not be just competing with the children in the room. Your child will be competing with a machine. And the question is, does your child compete with that or use that machine to do better? The future world our child enters is going to change and changing really fast. So let's fast forward 10 years and see which big shifts are coming. Number one is that jobs move on to skills. AI will replace many tasks, but it will not replace people. But the people without transferable skills, they will get replaced because AI can do those tasks that they are doing currently. Let's take an example. Today, a ChatGPT powered intern can already write emails, pitch decks, captions, create full-blown research. That was probably the amount of work that a full marketing team did in 2010. So jobs are changing to skills. The second shift is that kids of tomorrow will have multiple occupations. No more 25 years in one job with a pension. Your child may have 4 careers by the age of 35. So it's not going to be about job security. It's going to be about skill security in the future. The third shift is that the kids of today are going to be digital first. The playgrounds are not going to be only offline. They're going to be online as well as offline. Friendships may start in the virtual world. Friendships may start through virtual reality. Jobs may be conducted in the virtual world more than in the real world. So we have to be prepared for a digital native citizen. The fourth shift is that boundaries that we today see may disappear. Your children are going to be global citizens. They may have to compete with a coder based in Vietnam or collaborate with an artist in Brazil. There are not going to be national boundaries for many of these kids the way we see them today. The fifth shift that we see is that stress is going to be a part of daily life. That's because life is going to become so much faster. Your kids are so much faster at doing anything and everything and seeing the world around them. And hence, don't be shocked that if we teach them today the way we taught them in 2005, when they reach 2035, they will be struggling. Remember, confidence. In the age of so much of information, confidence to take a decision is going to be the next superpower. So now that we talk or know about the changes that will happen in the future, the question then is, how should the future of education be to prepare our children for that change? We must understand that the old education system was based on content, testing and results. But the future system needs to be based on curiosity, projects and real world impact that children can make. Understand, AI is the new calculator. Remember, we never tested multiplication by banning calculators. We just started teaching bigger problems. So the question is that in the age of AI, we need to now start seeing bigger problems. And here's how I see it shifting. So here's how I see learning shifting from yesterday to tomorrow. Firstly, yesterday we asked what is the right answer, but tomorrow we are going to ask what is the right question instead of what is the right answer. Kids need to develop the ability to question more for tomorrow. Yesterday was based on rote memory, but tomorrow is going to be based on real world learning and real world making. If you see the classrooms of today and classrooms of yesterday have been full of benches and tables, but many of the classrooms for tomorrow are going to be performance studios. And take the case of music. When we learned music yesterday, we often learned it by practicing or playing with an instructor, learning notes, learning music, and then going back home and practicing. But tomorrow, you will learn to play the music and also perform on stage at the same time. When we go to yesterday, we were studying to pass and perform in exams. But tomorrow, instead of performing in exams, you're going to learn to perform on the stage, perform in real world. When we talk about yesterday, again, all the students in a class followed the same path to the same goal. But when we go to tomorrow, each child will have the ability through the use of data to choose their own learning path. They can choose the pace in various subjects, but they can also choose the end goal of what they would like to learn. And that is when we prepare for the age of AI. So, over time we've seen that AI is going to change the world. We drew a vision for the future. We then drew a vision for schooling in the future. But we must be aware that AI also has its pitfalls. Let's be real, the future isn't all celebration. We will see that more screens come into play. We will observe that there is more loneliness, there is more pressure, there is more comparison. A comparison culture will develop. And you know what? Kids are going to face the brunt of this. Kids will know more facts than us. They will struggle more with their feelings. And the question is, so what must schools do? What must we do for this? We have to ensure we prepare for this by teaching emotional literacy. We must build deeper peer relationships, deeper vertical relationships with our children. We must protect their mental and physical well-being. We have to ensure we create a very strong community for the children so that we can overcome the challenges of tomorrow. We must encourage offline discovery for our children. We must ensure that they get adequate exposure to sunlight, sports, again, services, do things outside, because AI can teach us many things, but it can never teach a child how to be human. The value of the human touch is something that must be felt by the child and not be allowed to remain only in this virtual world that is coming up in front of us. So now that we know the challenges, we must also be aware that parenting in the age of AI has to be the same. Education cannot change without parenting changing. And we have to understand, a lot of our generation has been about Google style of parenting, where we provide the kids information that they do not have. But remember, tomorrow kids will have all the information that they need. We cannot be encyclopedias for the children. We need to become their guides. And parents, here's the new deal for you. We must not ask the children what they scored, but instead we need to ask them, what did you create today? We cannot encourage them to not fail. We cannot tell them don't fail. But we need to say, hey, fail fast, but learn faster. We need to ensure that in this era of complete information availability, we don't compare children based on their marks and their mark sheets. We need to model curiosity. We need to model kindness. We need to model clear digital boundaries for our children. We need to ensure that children follow our example and not only our advice. Because remember, parents, children will follow what you do and not what you speak. Finally, if you've heard me out so far, you must realize and understand my stance. AI is not the enemy. It's our outdated thinking, outdated practices, and outdated education, that is. Let's stop preparing kids for our past and start preparing them for the wonderful and bright future that they can have. A future where creativity beats compliance, where collaboration beats isolation, and where courage beats perfection. Because they must have the courage to explore new boundaries. Again, it's also going to be a future where passion beats percentages, and schools must evolve. Parents must evolve. We have to unlearn, because remember, learning never ends. Sometimes it just begins again and again when we unlearn. Well, this is Unlearn with Ambuj. If you love my episode, please follow me. Let's reimagine the future of education together.